All righty, ladies and gentlemen, we are live.
Welcome, everyone, to our City Council meeting for January 12th. If we could have a roll call, Madam Clerk, to establish quorum.
Terry McClung,
I'm here.
Harry Meyer,
Here.
Rochelle Moyer,
Here.
David Avanzino,
Here.
Steve Holyfield,
Here.
Suzanne Gruning.
Suzanne will be here shortly.
Very good.
All right, stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, get a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Any additions, corrections? Hearing none, all those in favor of the agenda as submitted, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Unless there's a objection, I'd like to go ahead and just get a minute to approve the minutes as submitted from September 22nd through December 22nd. If y'all want, we can go through each one of them, but if there's,
I make a motion that we approve them in aggregate.
okay,
Is that all right?
that'd be fine.
So moved.
Second.
All right, Mr. McClung made the motion and Mr. Holyfield seconded. Any changes or any objections? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, in your packet, you will see a renewal for an application for Tom Buford for the Planning Commission on position 2.
I'd like to make a motion to reappoint Mr. Buford.
I'd like to discuss this position, please.
I need a second first.
I'll second.
All right, now we can go into discussion.
Well, it's not easy to say. I like Mr. Buford, but he has taken a stand against our tree ordinance by refusing to vote on any tree ordinance brought up to planning. He's been doing this for probably about a year now, and I think as his position as a citizen, he has the right to object to anything he wants. But his position as a commissioner, he has to follow the rules, and I think that's blatantly not following the rules. It's his responsibility as a commissioner just to not vote on something he doesn't agree on.
Not voting is the same as a no vote, so.
So he's voting no on every tree cut application, so, yeah.
All right, anybody else? All right, hearing no other comments, all those in favor of Tom Buford for position 2 renominations?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
No.
No.
All right, I think that's 3-2. All right, Mr. Buford did not receive the approval. All right, at this time, we also have nominations for the city council seats for the CAPC in position 5 and 6. which
Mr.
will
Mayor,
expire.
can we postpone this till Ms. Greening gets here?
Sure.
She's going to have a
We can move that if you'd like to make that motion.
vote on that. I make a motion that we postpone this to later in the meeting
Okay,
for the CAPC position 5 and 6.
do you hear a second?
Second.
I thought we voted them in January.
This is January.
Oh, it is.
All right, all in favor
Been too
of
long a day.
deferring this until later on in the meeting, signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? All right. Also, at this point in time, we have a cemetery position vacant that expires February 15th to 27th. So anybody out there who's interested in serving on the cemetery commission, please let my office know. At this time, we'll take public comments. Please limit your time to 3 minutes for each citizen.
Hello.
I'm Richard Webb. This is my wife, Samantha, both former employees of Eureka Springs Hospital. This has gone on long enough. People have poured their hearts out to you all for almost 2 years about the pain and suffering inflicted on them at the hands of Cynthia Asbury, former CFO, and Jody Edmondson, former acting CEO and current HR director, and have gotten nothing but crickets. These people that were wronged deserve answers and justice. The day that Cynthia Asbury was made CFO is when all of this started, and Jody Edmondson went right along with her, what was going on, and did nothing. This is not going away until all, and I repeat, all of those who caused it are held accountable, and those who were hurt by it receive answers and justice. Mr. Berry, this is a city-owned hospital. The people who were wronged were city employees. It's time for you all to admit that they were wronged and make it right or step down. State and federal labor laws were broken, and a lot of good people were hurt by it. They lost their livelihoods, their health benefits, retirement, and had their work records tarnished, and went through the worst mental anguish you could think of for the last 2.5 to 3 years over all of this, not to mention financial turmoil, and you all have not made one attempt to acknowledge their suffering or tried to make it right. I believe my wife and I told you all when we first came before you over a year ago that we won't stop until all those involved are held accountable and those hurt by their illegal actions receive justice. Remember, there are many people out there with much more authority and power than you, and they are watching all of you. Remember that when you make your next move. Thank you. Go ahead.
My name is Samantha Webb. I was a former medical records clerk at the Eureka Springs Hospital. This did not start when Angie Shaw and Jessica Petrino were terminated in November 2024. It began the day Cynthia Asbury was hired. The bull in a china shop who was allowed to run rampant has finally left the building. She's not the only one who needs a swift kick, though, not by a long shot. How did the very person who lifted the hospital up from its ashes, receiving nothing but praise, who was untouchable, become terminated just days after Christmas? Oaths ignored, motions vetoed, mics cut off, letters sent by employees ignored, investigations that never happened, secret meetings, former hospital employees ask for your help, yet never make it to the agenda. Employees fired with no explanation, including a longtime doctor who was fired and banned from the premises. Meanwhile, he's called into work. People looking the other way. The hospital is owned by the city. The employees inside that hospital are city employees who receive city benefits, but your hands are tied. Interesting. Illegal and immoral, that's what this is. Asinine, cruel. My husband and I are among the 100+ employees who deserve answers. We deserve justice, we deserve accountability, we deserve transparency. Not silence and blank stares and lowered eyes. The rest of Eureka is deserving of that as well. So many of you have always known what's going on. Barbara Dixon, Kent Turner, anyone? Among others. And all you can be bothered to do is muster up a pair of doe eyes and smirks. Shame on you. What you do speaks so loudly that I cannot hear what you say. You remember that. You have watched us stand before you over and over and over. You've heard the emotion in our voices. You've seen the articles. I was a hospital's medical records clerk who not only won her case, but their appeal, a first for the hospital. Did you really think I was going to walk away with my tail tucked between my legs? Did you think that any of us would? How is it that you represent us, yet you will not help us? It is astonishing the lengths to which a person or a people will go in order to avoid a truthful mirror. James Baldwin. Thank you.
Heather?
Hi, I'm Heather Wilson. First, I just wanted to say a big thank you to all the community and city staff who had anything to do with Bash with a Splash. My husband and I attended. It was great. The police presence was very positive. Everybody was jovial, so thank you. So now I am here. In November 2024, I requested to collaborate with the Hospital Commission on my graduate thesis on rural healthcare. Instead of transparency, I was met with a lot of deflection. This forced me to pivot to formal FOIA requests, a lot of them. I also conducted interviews with over 100 former hospital employees personally. My research uncovered systemic governance failures that could not be ignored. The findings are well documented and they were damning. You can read them in the papers. Our boards and our commissions require real leadership. Yet, Eureka Springs has fallen into a pattern of reactive spending and crisis-first management. We cannot use arts and cultural awards to distract from our lack of accountability across all commissions and leadership. There is a glaring disconnect between the rhetoric of care and the pervasive operational and structural decay of our town. To the council, accountability should not be optional. I have already asked the Hospital Commission Chair to step down from her role in light of her multiple failures. The current leadership pattern presents a clear risk to the long-term health of this city and hospital. Mayor Barry, I respectfully but directly ask that this year you please resign so that you can make way for new leadership. Leadership that is committed to transparency and neutral application of standards, and that can move Eureka Springs forward into the future while honoring our legacy and our past. When long-standing personal relationships take precedence over holding appointed leaders accountable for multiple documented failures, public confidence erodes and governance suffers. At the very least, if you cannot objectively oversee the commission chair due to your long documented personal relationship, you should recuse yourself from any further vetoes or appointments regarding the hospital commission. Council, should the commission chair Martin refuse to resign, I ask that you exercise your authority to remove her. The evidence of gross mismanagement and failure to perform duties provides you with more than sufficient cause in every category across the board. There is no question that the Arkansas Code for removal criteria have been met. The only question remaining is whether this council has the resolve to enforce its own standards of integrity. The residents of Eureka Springs deserve a government that goes to the mat for them instead of time and, again, bad actors who benefit from lack of oversight that conducts itself with integrity before a crisis occurs, not only after the FOIA requests come in and the newspapers report. So on that note, in light of Chair Martin, if you missed it in today's paper, I have emailed it to the council.
The lady's time has expired. Last but not least, Mr. Damon Hankey.
Good evening, Damon Hinkey here from 19 Thomas Drive. I just wanted to address a couple of things. I know entertainment districts are coming up as some discussion points. And I wanted to point out a couple of things. I think most people are on the same page. But a temporary entertainment district that's based on a resolution is not a permit situation. I think a lot of times we drive that as a part of a festival and part of a permitting situation. But anytime the mayor or a council person asks for a resolution, it's actually a change to law, and this specific situation is a change to state law. So I think a lot of times we say, oh, well, this person who's asking for the actual temporary entertainment district is very responsible for the things that go into that temporary entertainment district. Not necessarily, because it's actually the city changing the laws of the state to enable that alcohol to go into the streets in that specific district. So I just wanted to say, I think sometimes we look at that a little backwards into the permit. It's really an application to ask for you to even create a resolution in the first place rather than asking for an actual permit like a special event. The only other thing I wanted to mention was that permanent versus temporary. You all know that a permanent is set by an actual ordinance. A temporary is set by a resolution. The reason that I call it an ongoing temporary, however long you want to make it, is we've been sunsetting the ordinances anyway. Therefore, a temporary actually aligns better than an ordinance with a sunset. And a temporary will allow you to do it in one vote. You don't have to go through 3 readings and all the hoops to get this passed. So that's why I've been positioning this as an ongoing temporary entertainment district. It makes it easier for you to say, these are the parameters, this is what can be done. It starts on this date, ends on this date, one time through, everybody votes, we're good to go. We do it again next year, and that allows us to just make changes as we go rather than trying to set a permanent, which we all know is going to hit a referendum right off the bat. So that's why I like the temporary better than the permanent entertainment district. And Colin's also working on this. We're aligned on what needs to happen downtown, which is an entertainment district, be it temporary or permanent. There's not a lot of misalignment. There's some slight differences in the actual footprint and how it might be managed. The chamber board is supporting. We had our chamber meeting today. I ran by them what we're talking about, whether it be Colin, we will do as a chamber whatever needs to happen to support an entertainment district in Eureka Springs. So I just want to clarify that while I have the opportunity. Thank you very much.
That's everyone.
All right, thank you all very much. Next item of business is sewer, water, and streets update. Get a motion to discuss.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Mr. Simon?
Yeah. Good evening, Mayor and Council. Let me put on my fancy little glasses I got in New York City so I can read what I wrote here. So for our sewer updates, we've ordered parts to rebuild both the UV state units. I think I reported on it last time I reported up here. We do have a company coming in towards the end of this month to rebuild our UV light systems. And just a reminder for that, the complete replacements for those units would be $240,000 to approximately replace those. So we're looking at getting it done for probably, well, the parts alone are probably 15 grand. So I'd say probably 20 or 30,000. Our effluent test reports are coming back well in tolerance. We have not had any illicit discharges out of the sewer plant in quite a while. The SBR influent valves have arrived. JL Bryson will be on site tomorrow to start the installation of those and finish up the sludge basin. So we're waiting on having some floats installed that control the motors for the aeration and mixing. So they'll be here tomorrow to start working on both of those items. We repaired over the Christmas break, we repaired a sewer line over on Hayes. We had a root infiltration on that sewer main, and we contracted it out over the holiday weekend. And they got the jetter hose stuck, and it broke the end of their jetter line off. So those sprayers are a couple grand a piece. So we went ahead and dug that out and retrieved that for them. The Lower Mountain has a section of clay line that is currently actively failing. It's still flowing right now, but we're going to be repairing it probably later this week.
Where's that?
Lower Mountain, down by the...
Down by Main Street?
Yeah, Main Street.
Okay.
Yep. So that's all I have for the sewer updates portion of that. I'll ask for any questions.
Any more rags in the sewer?
Every day, every day.
Every day? But
Every day.
They haven't clogged the...
I haven't had any clogs due to rags over the last month, so we haven't had any clogs, but we're still getting them at the sewer plant, of course. You know, and that's not anything that's ever going to not happen, I'm afraid.
Oh.
So if it's all right with you, Mayor, I'll provide water updates.
Sure.
So we repaired a broken water main down on Hayes Avenue. When we were fixing that sewer line issue over there, we found a water leak, and we went ahead and fixed that. At this time, we have no other leaks that are known at this time. That's about all I have for the water side. Any questions? Oh, I do have one more thing that I didn't write down. So Tank Spec out of Holiday Island performed the inspection of all 4 of our water towers here in the city. So I should have those results back here pretty soon, and I'll provide an update. Especially if there's anything concerning that was found, we'll definitely let everybody know.
What chances that a tank might fail or something?
Well, so I've taken the 1894 water tower out of service, so it's been off for a while now. We believe that inside that tank there's something going on. I don't know what's going on, but we're hoping to find out this inspection. But I don't know that I'm going to reconnect that to our service. We don't.
Where
really,
is that one?
That's the one in front of Best Western that was built back in the 1800s. Wow. So we took it offline. We've been monitoring pressures and fire flows and all that, and haven't had any issues. So I've been working with the health department on that issue alone, and we're probably just going to eliminate that from the system. We're going to keep the tower. It is the oldest tower. I think that's been in continuous service in the United States. So there's some significant historical.
Guinness Book of World Records?
Maybe right next to the largest twins, if they still have that. I don't know. I haven't seen it since I was a kid. So. I digress. So, on to street updates. So, we've been working on removing the Christmas decorations and putting those away for the year. We're still going to be working on the Tibbs Alley stairs pretty soon. We're going to pressure wash those as weather's permitting now that we're getting caught up on the Christmas decorations and start restaining those and getting those all back up to A+ shape. I'm working with the Eureka Springs Hospital to haul off some tree debris on the hillside to help with their maintenance. We're also gathering up boulders to block off that driveway that people are using to access the parking area by their landing pad. They're having some FAA issues with the helicopters landing in there with cars being parked in there, so we're going to block that off with some large boulders. We have this, you might not have seen the street sweeper out and about for the last few days. We took it offline last week. We're having a few of the hydraulic cylinders rebuilt on it right now. We're hoping they're going to be done this week so we can put it back together. We replaced one of the seals on the hopper on the back and doing some other miscellaneous work on it. So I'm hoping by the end of the week we have that thing going again. And then my last note in here is we borrowed barricades from the city of Fayetteville for the New Year's Eve party. They were gracious enough to haul those up here to us and show us how to use them. And then Sean and we hauled them back to Fayetteville to get familiar with exactly where they store those things in the future if we ever need to use them again, that we could get easy access to those to use them. So aside from that, does anybody have any questions for me?
That's positive feedback. Tourist told me that he's really impressed at how clean our city is, so I just want to give you that feedback.
You know, I really want to give a shout out to Andy on that. Andy does a fantastic job. He is very reliable. I mean, it's really great, the staff that we have in Public Works that do this day-to-day operations out in the field. People like Andy or Eugene. Eugene's collecting a lot of surveying data for me for the GIS mapping, and I've been working in that pretty regularly, correcting our maps on our sewer system right now. And then once I get that under control, I'll start working on the water side of things. But we have some great staff over there, and they all deserve a lot of recognition. I'm proud of them all.
Great, thank you.
Two things. One is, what's the status on your jetter? Is it ordered yet or no?
Say that again?
The jetter, the sewer jetter, has it been ordered?
Yeah, we've had it for a year and a half.
Oh, we've got it?
Yeah.
What was that other thing that we ordered then, that's on the budget?
Huh?
Oh, that's the.
Oh, a hydro excavation trailer.
Yeah. Okay. I got the two confused. The other thing is the McClellan Engineering. Where are we?
That's a great question. So I'm currently working with 3 different engineering firms on 3 different projects right now. I guess you could say 4 if we're talking the Black Bass Dam. So I've got McClellan working on the sewer plant right now. We've received approval from the Department of Health, and we're waiting for the ADEQ to give their approval. Usually they wait for the Department of Health before they concur with that. So we've got Department of Health approval. We're waiting on concurrence from ADEQ, and then we should be able to start rolling with that. So we're expecting that any day now. I'm also working with Philip Lewis Engineering. So we're doing the roundabout utility relocation I also have them doing a drainage study of Pendergrass Corner, because we have some drainage issues that are going on there where the water's overtopping the curb and gutter down there. So we're looking at trying to apply for a grant to maybe get some of that stuff done in the next year or so. Also working with Performance Services, I believe that's the name of it. I keep calling it all different types of things. I know it starts with performance. But so this is an engineering firm, and what they do is they find grants for infrastructure repairs. So I actually spoke to them today. They're going to be here at the end of the month. I'm sharing information with them, such as our maps and different information they're asking for to kind of build a case to be able to apply for A&RC grants. And I believe they'll be here probably in February to talk to you guys a little bit about it.
Is that a major grant, like a high dollar grant?
We don't know yet. They're gonna apply for what they can get. The cost is nothing unless they get grants or until they get grants. So the way they work is that they'll evaluate our water and sewer system and then find the deficiencies. Like for the water side, maybe a aging pipe or something that needs to be replaced, or the sewer side, clay lines that were supposed to be replaced a long time ago. And we'll identify those areas, and that's part of why we're doing what we're doing with the sewer system, because we kind of know what we have in the ground as far as water goes and our age of our pipes, but we don't know where all our clay lines are, where our ductile iron lines are. So I have Mr. Eugene Darby going around and pulling the manholes and getting elevations and the correct coordinates of the manholes and getting the flow line elevations and all that stuff so I can put it in the GIS system. And once we build this information up, we'll have a better plan of attack of what to hit first. But we're working with Performance Services. They're kind of doing their thing too to try to figure out what we already know, problematic issues with clay lines, that kind of thing, and then they'll come up with a dollar amount, apply for those grants. They're zero cost until we get grants, but you know, the city of Garfield has used them and has had some really good results. The city of Garfield started at 9% water leak. We're in the mid 30 percentile right now on our water loss. So if it works out, it could be pretty promising for the future of Eureka Springs.
That's good.
Any other questions? No? Thank you for your time. I appreciate you.
Thanks, Simon. All right, the next item of business is Queen Anne purchase. Get a motion to discuss.
So move.
Second.
All right. We have Mr. Slane is here, I believe. Mr. Slane, would you like to come up and kind of give us a brief summary of your proposal? And I know City Council has talked a little bit about it. We've got a packet here showing some of the projects. And
yeah, since you've seen it and everything, basically it was just an offer.
You might speak up a little bit.
Okay, basically we were representing Landmarks, the owners of the property at the Queen Anne. We were making an offer for approximately, the way it worked out, just a little under 2 acres, 1.8 or 1.9 acres, to give us a little more flatter surface on where our property runs out there against the city property, that would let us have a little easier access. Also, what we built into that was we were giving a bigger easement back to the city that had been given through the purchase of the Planer property, I think, a few years ago, to the community center. And the community center obviously works with the city. And Sam Dudley had talked to us about, they really want to put a bike path or trail through there to go down to Black Bass. But the property that they were given by the to the community center really wasn't going to be able to let them do that. So we were going to add some property in this deal that would allow them to easily access and build a trail to Black Bass. And we made an offer, we're just waiting to hear.
Any questions from the council?
I do.
Ms. Rochelle? Yes.
Thanks for being here today so that we could have conversation about the plans. And one of the concerns that I had, so I also want to appreciate Sam Dudley for kind of lining out all of the due diligence he's done on his end. I think one of the things that's kind of standing out for me is it going to be, are you and the levels prepared to provide access to the public to that trail from the property? And would that be restricted? And if so, what would those restrictions be?
Well, the easement that was given before, plus what we would be adding to it, provide plenty of access. Now, if you're asking, can people use our adjacent parking lot and so forth, we've had discussions about that, during business hours or whatever, we'd be happy to, allow people to be there because, they could be business for us. So why would we not want that?
Yeah, great. So I think that was one of the concerns, is that we would have possibly an easement and a trail, and then it would be difficult to access that. So that was one of the questions that I had.
Yeah. Mr. Mayor?
I think that area is right up by the highway, so we would be giving basically highway access. Anyway, it's right there at the front of the property, so anybody could come in. And if they want to park there, they can park there. That's fine.
And it would just be, access would be during regular business hours?
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I can wait.
Mr. Holyfield?
So you'll need easement from the community center to cross their property, that little strip of property they have there?
Well, you would
yeah.
need it.
I guess we gifted the property, Landmarks gifted the property to the community center originally.
Right.
But I think it's, actually, I don't know that you will need to use the community center property to make the bike trail, because we're providing enough property that's flat that you can actually have a bike trail. My understanding is that property is such a steep place that it's not usable anyway.
Right. And the second question is, who would pay for the trail? Who would pay for the development of the trail?
The city.
City.
Parks.
However, we have offered, obviously, purchase of the other property.
Right. So could we hear from the Parks Department and how much it would cost to develop that trail? I mean, are we going to sell property for $50,000 and then spend $50,000 developing a trail?
Sam? You sit back there. Can you come up and help us out here?
And is this a priority for our Parks Department?
A little bit manhandled over there by the little ones. So what's the question? Sorry.
So how much will it cost to put in the trail that they're talking about there? And apparently part of the money, the $50,000, would go to build the trail that we would authorize.
Well, I mean, that's up to you guys, I guess. We would build it in-house, but I mean, that's labor. It would probably take a month or so to build. So that's, we would have already been paying that labor anyway, but at the same time, it's, it is taken away from other things we could be doing. Main cost that's not already incorporated in the budget would be things like a kiosk and signage and stuff like that, and materials for those things. But
So you don't have a ballpark idea? $50,000, $20,000, $5,000?
yeah, I mean, we're like 20 would be kind of pretty much what we're looking at, I would say. Yeah. But I mean, once again, it's hard to know for sure because it's all, I'd have to calculate what it would cost me and or Jeff to go out there and build it and how long it would take. And
Do you have a list of trails that you plan on developing? Is this on that list, or is that?
I've always wanted to have a 62 access to Black Bass. I just think it would be really great to have because everyone's driven down Oil Springs Road and it gets a little hairy. Just kind of narrow, and it's not terrible, but it's
So it's something
not
that Parks
ideal.
would want this, then, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, so long as, the things in the contract allow for it, like Rod and Jill were saying, the parking during business hours. I don't know what their business hours are, but I'm assuming it would be somewhat reasonable with the park's hours. I mean, we're only open dawn to dusk for most of our parks anyway, so if anyone's trying to park there overnight, they're not supposed to be doing that anyway. But so long as the easements line up, there's one section that if you park, we would have to. I think Rod and I already talked about it on site, but just to make sure that stuff is like legally taken care of, as far as like having a little trail to connect into the community center from the parking, because there's no real great way to get over there without being right up against the road. So just little stuff like that, and so long as all that's taken care of, then I mean, I'd be pretty pumped to see it happen.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Mr. McClung?
Yeah, it's the way, as I understand it right now, the way the property is and with what the Parks has across through there that they were already gifted, is not feasible for a trail. What they're going to gift, in addition to that is already there, is going to give them space to do the trail. So if you're trying to, make that part of the deal, I'm not really sure what you're after there, just gaining information, I suppose, but the trail's not feasible unless they get this. So I think that's critical. And if they can build the trail in-house, all the better. That's the most economical way to do it, I do believe. I don't know if you're ready for a motion yet or not. I'll hold up yet.
Mr. Meyer?
So the part they're giving you, going to give you enough room to build a trail from 62 all the way down to Black Bass, right?
But what was the question? Sorry.
On this map, the piece that they added to what Community Center had is enough for you to build a trail all the way down to.
Yeah, I mean, it might be a little steep in places, but I think we could work something out to where.
Well,
yeah.
Of course, it's the Ozarks.
Yeah, it's doable.
We have steep trails in the park too,
And that's the only reason why this trail was never.
Can you speak in the
I'm
microphone
sorry.
a little bit?
I didn't want to hog the mic. That's the only reason why the trail hasn't been built yet is because the community center property is just like, I mean, you know how these haulers are, like it's flat-ish up to a point, and then all of a sudden it just, and that's where that property is. So it's just, you'd be going down a ravine basically.
And you guys build all your trails in-house, don't you, now?
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
Now you do, before, after the...
Yeah, after the big onslaught of new trails.
Right.
We try to do most of it in-house. We have an excavator, and, Jeff's pretty dang good at doing it, so.
Cool.
Yeah.
Make your motion.
Mr. Avanzino?
Yeah, so I'm looking at the maps, Ms. Lane and Mr. Slane, that you guys provided to us, and I'm trying, where is the proposed cabins or overnight rentals that you're building in relation to the estate?
Well, we already, first of all, cabins are phase 3 of the project on the property, so that's not something we're going to do right now. But as it stands right now, we have enough property to build the cabins, but it would be very tight up against your property. This would give us an area to be able to turn around and have a little space there beyond where there's a road and, for our utilities and such. But the cabins are going to go there on the west side of the property. I don't know that any are going to be built specifically on this property because they're going to go along that ridge there on the west side as of now.
And so access to the trail, I'll just call it the trail, comes from where? From your private property?
Actually, off of Highway 62. We own the property up to Highway 62 there.
So where on 62? I'm trying to
It's
get my bearings
It's
here.
what was mapped out on the there's a plat of the actual property that was given to the community center.
It's by the gate.
So it's somewhere between the telephone pole that's away from our gate. See, and then the other thing that we're going to do is we're expanding we're making our parking lot an exit there at the thing, which will provide a lot more space right there where Sam wants to connect.
So it's a second tier of parking that will go in through the gate as you do the Queen Anne right now, and then drive around and go out on that little bit lower level. And at the end of that lower level, as you pull out onto the highway, that's where the property is that would go down to the bike trail, right on the highway.
But it wouldn't be shared. So the city would own your egress and we have our own. We would just have a deal where if there was overflow or something from yours, that people could come on our property and then, as Sam wanted to do, have a little, a walkway that would be nice and connect with that so that people could come on our property and use it, or they would be the city property where he said that you would build a kiosk and a little bit of parking. I think a lot of people approach it with their bikes and stuff. I don't know how many people would actually park there anyway.
Yeah. Is there any way, I've never been to the property, my bad, sorry. But I kind of want to have my feet on the ground there so I can see what all we're talking about. Parking, access, where the trail is going to go, how much work is going to be involved. I would like to see it with my own eyes. I don't know how anybody else feels about that. And we've done site visits before.
That'd be his deal.
Mr. McClung?
Obviously, Sam has been there. Other people from Parks, the mayor's been there. We have certainly made it available for people to take a look and see. There's nothing to hide there, for sure. And matter of fact, you're welcome to go. If you go in, pull into the gate of the Queen Anne, right to the right of it, you can walk all the way down there. You can see the ravine, you can see the bike path, you can see all of it.
It adjoins the property of that gray building. I'm not sure what that is. It used to be a hotel or something. You know that gray building that's right there?
Mm-hmm.
It goes all the way over to that property. So your property currently starts, or your easement currently starts right there and goes to the east. And I can't tell you exactly the distance, but. And then we're talking about adjoining that and widening that when it gets down to the place where that property runs out of usability.
Mr. McClung?
I'd like to make a motion that we prepare the documents to transfer the property, to make the sale subject to the delivery of a deed for the easement, or I guess that's what you're going to do, is deed that over to the city, not do an easement itself, just deed it and transfer that, as well as with the caveat that we, it has verbiage in there that reflects that we do have access to parking and access whatever needs to be done as far as surveys and all that we're protected and they get what they want, and we, it's usable for us. And it's kind of convoluted, but I don't know else.
Yeah, I don't know how it would work either. We don't want to take on any city liability for somebody, coming on our property. So there'd have to be some explanatory kind of document.
what I would suggest is possibly what your motion might be is that you're subject to accepting the $50,000 offer, subject to an agreement that can be worked out between the city attorney and the Slanes and presented back to the city council.
I'll second that.
Perfect. That's exactly what I said.
I knew that's what you meant. Okay. Ms. Slane?
Thank
Did
you.
I hear who seconded that?
I seconded.
Okay. Ms. Moyer?
I don't know the procedure, but how do I amend? Is it possible to amend that motion?
Sure.
No, you can't.
I would have to
You
vote
can't
against
amend
it.
You
and
can,
then-
he can amend it, but you can't.
So I have to vote no.
Okay.
Can I comment?
Sure.
I'm not opposed to the concept. I would feel more comfortable seeing a contract presented to us, as offers often look like contracts, and then having our attorney review that contract, and then we decide as to whether we agree to that contract. But that's very small.
That's what's going to be done, is a contract be presented or prepared between the two and then presented to us for our approval.
Okay.
That's what they're talking
Madam Clerk, what's the motion on the table?
Oh, for gosh sakes,
Oh,
David,
sorry.
don't ask me.
Mayor?
That's really
You think I'm paying
cruel.
attention?
It's a cruel move.
The offer is acceptance of the $50,000 offer contingent upon an agreement that's be worked out between the city attorney and the Slanes and presented before the city council for agreement.
So what we would be voting on is just the acceptance of an offer contingent on approval from you. And is that correct? Is that what I hear?
Basically, you accept what the motion is for accepting the offer contingent upon an acceptable agreement that's going to be worked out between the city attorney and the Slanes and approved by the city council. So, city attorney's going to help come up with verbiage on an offer or an agreement, I guess, with the Slanes, and then present it back to the city council for their approval. I believe that's correct.
Perfect.
Ms. Moyer?
I just want to be clear that I guess the expectations would be that the contract include access to the easement, as that was part of what Sam was saying was
Absolutely.
necessary. And the other question that I think Sam alluded to in his letter, but we haven't heard from the Slanes, is there any permanent changes to the land that would impact that area of Black Bass Lake? For example, the installation of septic tanks or things like that? Okay.
Mr. McClellan?
I think more than likely Sam will be involved in some of that verbiage in there to make with the city attorney to make sure that we get, what he wants out of that too, that they can come to terms on. So we'll be all right. We'll see how it washes out.
All right, any further comment, discussion? All right, the motion is, if I can repeat it again, that the city council will accept the offer of the $50,000 contingent upon an agreement that will be worked out between our city attorney and the Slanes and approval by the city council. So, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, so moved. Thank you all. Thank you. We'll get with you and see where we can go from here. All right. All right, next item of business is sidewalks with Mr. Gruning.
I make a motion, we discuss sidewalks.
Second.
All right.
So I read the info back from Casey. I mean, there's some good points here. It does not, though, address, to me, a way forward on correcting sidewalks. And we did talk about, we were hoping to have the report that it's attached.
I thought I attached to,
It's attached to your packet, Susan.
it's in your packet.
Yeah, what are you asking me?
The report is in the packet, I believe.
Oh, the report is in there?
Yes.
It is.
Sorry, I did not see it.
I didn't see the digital version, but there's a printed version.
It's that front page.
There is.
This one.
I think
Says-
Okay, but
yeah.
this doesn't say, it says, as you know, Paul Sutherland, the building inspector, and I are preparing a report.
Says a report
Okay,
on the sidewalks at Eureka Springs from the Building
Okay.
and Planning Department.
so what I was proposing, and this doesn't really give me a lot of solutions. It tells me things that maybe we shouldn't do, or we need to pick priorities, and she opposes creating any waivers or streamlined processes for HDC approval. All I'm asking for when I brought this up was, I'm one person, I'm not going to have this mammoth solved on my own. We talked about maybe doing having a sidewalk committee to see how we can move forward. It might be something that the residents vote on, whatever it is that we come up with. This was simply to offer ideas, right? What, you look confused. What's going on here?
I was under the impression I was to prepare a report on the condition of the sidewalks and give them back to the city council.
Okay, and so we have that report. Who wants to present it? Because it's not my report.
Well, it's for the city council to read and review and to comment on. I mean, it's quite a few documents. The building inspector who, along with the Cassie, helped prepare this. So if there's any questions, I'm sure we can, between the two of them, they can answer them. This is pretty much a city. I'm not sure exactly what you're asking for, Ms. Gruning. I'm a little confused
So for that,
here.
what I was asking for initially was, how do we repair sidewalks that do not belong to the city, but belong to residences that need repaired? Some areas are in really bad shape, and within like the upper loop and
Okay.
Spring Street. And so,
Paul, do you want to come up here? I think we've addressed that somewhat in your report, if I'm not mistaken. We addressed some options here, if I remember correctly.
So what happened was me and Cassie, the mayor, asked us to go out there and look at these sidewalks and come up with some type of idea how we can repair these sidewalks. We kind of rated the sidewalks. We went and rated a lot of the sidewalks, and we kind of put in your package, you know, how many lineal feet of sidewalks probably that would cost, and we rated them from 1 to 5. We also talked to the mayor about, you know, options that we could go forward, and one would be whenever someone pulled a building permit, we would require them to repair the sidewalk in front of their house if it's in need. The second one would be is we sent them out a letter because we wouldn't want to just give them 90 days to go out and fix their sidewalks and maybe give them 365 days. And those 365 days doesn't mean they have to replace every bit of their sidewalk in front of their place. It just addresses the sidewalks that are bad. There's multiple options to be able to repair the sidewalks, replace the sidewalks. Anything else you want to add, Cassie?
I just would like to add that part of the issue is within our code as it stands, property owners are responsible for the sidewalk abutting their property. So what the city can and cannot repair is somewhat at issue when it comes to that legal area. Our current code provides for a process to do that. I highlighted both that and the code in your guidelines, as well as in the report, as well as providing the historic district's design guidelines. But as it involves, you know, a certain amount of code enforcement and placing a lien on the property, which could result in money the city doesn't get back. Paul and I are trying to figure out ways that we could encourage property owners to fix their sidewalks without having to go that route, but still being within code. We can't really do anything that's not allowed for outside of code. That would be a discussion, I assume, for this body to discuss. And one other thing that I think is important to know is that our current code, it doesn't, for new developing properties, there is nothing that states that they have to put in sidewalk. If for subdivisions, that is at the discretion of the Planning Commission, but it's not a requirement. There's also nothing requiring or stating anything to the effect of properties that don't currently have a sidewalk. I don't know if that's something anyone wants to try and tackle or think about. I certainly don't have a solution to something as thorny as you've owned this property for 20 years, it has no sidewalk, and now we're going to tell you to put one in. But that's just something that's not addressed in our code.
Thank you for that.
Yes, Ms. Green.
So I think that's a great idea and a starting point to see how many people do replace sidewalks. So I appreciate the work you guys put in. As far as new builds, I did see that a sidewalk's not a requirement, but those weren't the ones that I was concerned about. And I'm going to specifically talk about my ward, but you see it as you walk around, which is Ward 1, up along Kings Highway and going down some of Benton, that some of those sidewalks, they're pretty bad with trees growing up. I see children stepping off the curb. So you know all that. You've seen them. And I'm sure you've seen some pretty good number 5s, and then you see the 3s that you don't feel need to be addressed right now. At least it's a starting point. So you're giving the homeowners a year, then, is what you're saying?
Correct.
So even though the ordinance says, what does the ordinance say, 90 days, Cassie?
180.
180? So do we need to change that?
180, but it also, that would require what's called a sidewalk safety team to make like we would have to get people from Public Works with Paul, delineate them as sidewalk safety team, have them go back out to all these places and go through the proper process to give them 180 days. Whereas what Paul and I are suggesting is just a letter saying, hey, we've noticed this is coming up a lot. We're going to give you a year to fix this on your own before we even try to go through this process that could have consequences.
So you're going to try that, wait a year before you enforce the code, is what you're saying?
Unless you have a better idea.
No, I like your idea, but I think a year's a long time, too.
Well, I think it's fair. Yeah,
Miss-
that's good. I like it.
Mr. Almazino?
The number of years that
Just so I heard correctly, sidewalk, new construction homes are not required, or the planner, okay, so those of you who were on council then, why was that put into the ordinance? I'm curious why we would not require sidewalks.
That predates all of these people.
I'm sorry?
That's been
Mr.
on the books
McClung, you
for a
want
long
to, you're the senior statesman along with myself, and I don't remember.
That ordinance was written a long time before any of us ever got on here. That's
Well, you've
old.
been here since 1932, so.
pretty
Yeah,
darn
well,
old.
But that was written in 1904.
I mean, so to me, obviously, that entire ordinance needs to be looked at again, needs to be revisited, because new construction, every single one of us at this table has brought up sidewalks. And we can't continue to do that and then say, oh, except for we're going to grant a waiver for this new construction not to have one. We can't do that. Let me finish. So we need to revisit the entire ordinance when it comes to sidewalks, in my opinion. And also, and that backs up to say that, you know, the sidewalk issue is not going to go away. Just like sewer is not going to go away, water is not going to go away, our roads are not going to go away. Sidewalks is always going to come up. So instead of pushing this off and pushing it off with no path forward, then let's bring it back to the table and address it and move forward. That's what I have to say.
I'm sorry, would you repeat, bring what back to the table?
Revisit the sidewalk ordinance and these rules that we have.
Okay.
For example, new developments don't require sidewalks. I think that's crazy.
You know, that's part of the prerogative of the city council is you are a legislative body. If you want to revise the ordinance on sidewalks, that, of course, is what you're more than able to do. Now, what Ms. Gruning is talking about on here is more of an administrative issues, and that's what we've worked with on how to administer what we have in getting the sidewalks that we have up to date. And it was my determination to give them a year rather than the 180 days.
It just seems sort of, sorry, Rochelle, it just seems that Sue's issue with sidewalks is like a microcosm of a bigger picture. And I think if we address the bigger picture, some of these issues that Sue brings up will be addressed if we revisit this sidewalk ordinance.
Ms. Gurney?
So I have a question. When somebody revamps a house, somebody new purchases it, they got it, you go and you inspect it. At that time, if they had a sidewalk there at one point, are they allowed to, are they required to replace that sidewalk at inspection?
That is not a current requirement, but that is one that we've recommended in here that we start doing. It seems to be the easiest time to have people replace sidewalks is when they're already doing a lot of rehabilitation on their property.
Especially the number 3s and number 4s.
And when you were going out doing your...
Number 2s and number 3s. Sorry.
Okay. When you were doing your rankings, did you include areas that no longer have a sidewalk, but they filled it in with gravel? What did you rate those?
Those got rated a 5. However, I'm sorry, a 1, because we changed our rating. But they got rated a 1. However, we did not include the parks.
You did not what?
Include the parks department.
And so before we're going to enforce any of this ordinance, we want to wait a year, basically, from the time you send the letter.
That is our recommendation. We're trying to be very, if sidewalks have gotten to this point, then you would have to assume that this has not been enforced for a while. And rather than coming out with a sledgehammer, we're trying to come out with a lot easier of an approach.
I get that. I get that.
Mr. Meyer?
Yeah, I've brought this sidewalk subject up many times, and one of the things was I suggested that if a house sells, the person who's selling it has to repair the sidewalk before the deal closed. And a former city attorney said, can't do that. And our current city attorney
And our present city attorney agrees.
Our current city attorney agrees with that. So, we got legal issues to deal with along with this. But I really like your idea. I think it's a great idea. A year, yeah, because like you said, nobody seems to have been doing anything now. All of a sudden, I've only got 180 days. Now, I like the idea of a year, and maybe neighbors can get together and have it done all at one time and save some money or something.
I would like to make a note that while they have a year, that doesn't mean they're not going to get a letter before a year.
Right.
They're going to get a letter immediately referring that this subject is...
the year is starting.
That's correct.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
Tick, 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 tick.
Ms. Moyer?
Tangentially related to what you're talking about, I'm assuming that the city also has responsibility for sidewalks that need repaired? We have property that we own against a sidewalk that will need to be repaired.
We rated those the same as we rated everyone else. And
Yeah.
I can't give you every one of those that are rated number 1. Maybe the city might be on some of them, but I couldn't tell you right tonight.
Well, I wasn't going to quiz you on it or anything. I was curious if you had in your mind, like, were you thinking, oh gosh, like in the next year or so, like the city would need to come up with a certain amount of money to fix their own sidewalks? Because if we're going to be holding people accountable, we have to hold ourselves accountable first.
I think Simon's already addressed that, because in our budget, we have some sidewalks already being repaired, and especially up off of Howe Street and Magnolia. No.
So we can assume that that's already in the budget? That's just my question.
Yes.
Okay. The only other thing that I wanted to say is I appreciate you guys trying to figure out a way to kind of softly get back into enforcing what is a law that already exists, right? So not pushing blame on anybody, but it is a law that was passed and does exist. I'm assuming we're going to get a lot of feedback on this, so we should all prepare for that. But this is a really complex issue. Obviously, just in the conversations that have happened already, it dives into a whole bunch of other stuff. And I would add one more thing, which is trees, because if you're going to adjust your ordinance for sidewalks and building, you're going to impact trees, and that's a huge thing in this town. So my recommendation would be that we continue to investigate and try to get our hands wrapped around what needs to happen long-term with sidewalks and trees and all of the things that sidewalks include. Maybe setting up a workshop or a separate committee that can deal with these things to demonstrate that we're serious, working with planning, and keep ourselves informed as it goes on. But I'm open for, that's just
Mr. McClung?
Is there anything we need to do, Counselor, to let them, so they can implement this plan of the one-year deal? Is there anything?
I think someone can just make a verbal motion
So
to give them the authority
we don't need an
to do
ordinance
that.
or anything, like that. And then secondly, I agree. I think we need to, if we're going to revisit the sidewalk ordinance, then we need to have a workshop and really sit down and pull it apart. And you're not going to, I don't think you're going to be able to grandfather, or you're not going to be able to change existing homes that don't have sidewalks. I don't think it's like everything else. You can't, I don't think you can I think they have to be grandfathered. I don't think you can come back and, in retro and force them to put it, but you can certainly implement it in any kind of new subdivision that's put in where they can be required. And that's very common and should be there. So I'm all for the workshop idea, and I want to get this show on the road.
Ms. Gurney?
Okay, so to be clear, you'll send the letter out to everybody, all, or just fives, or just fours?
So keep in mind, I will send the letter out to only the number ones that we have on the list, and I think there was 18? 25. So those will get the letter. The number twos, if they do any type of remodeling or any type of new, work on their house, then they will also be required to replace their sidewalks or repair their sidewalks, one or the other.
Okay, and then, so you're going to start with number ones?
Number ones, and then we'll work on number twos and threes.
Are you going to, so when would you start, like, what is your implementation plan of rolling this out? So number twos would be in a month, in a year?
So the number twos would be revisited next year, but let's get through the number ones. We was thinking get through the number ones first. That's going to be the toughest ones. Okay. And then once we get through the number ones, hopefully we get some action on the number twos, and then we also if someone does remodeling on the number twos, then we'd start that.
So is this both commercial businesses and?
It's every bit of sidewalk that we walked.
Okay, and then after 1 year, let's just say there are some that still have not.
That's whenever we pressure.
180 days unless we change it in the ordinance, but I mean, is that what you would default to?
That's correct.
So a year and a half.
Yeah.
Mr. Mayor?
Mr. McClung?
I'd like to make a motion that we approve this plan for the building inspector to proceed with submitting the letters.
I second that.
All right, Mr. McClung made a motion to approve the building inspector's plan, and Mr. Myers seconded. Any other comments? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed?
Thank you.
Mr. McClung, regarding the workshop, I think what I would like to see is it go to Planning Commission and have them develop the preliminary, and rather than getting us involved first.
I understand that, Mayor, but I don't really think, because it's existing, and it's for subdivisions and in the future, and so it's very plain, unless you want their input.
If it's just
I don't think
dealing-
we need them.
If you're just dealing with subdivisions, that's one thing. If you're dealing with the entire sidewalk issues, I mean, we can have an ordinance prepared for subdivision to require sidewalks to be required in subdivisions.
I have a question.
Ms. Green?
So if we do defer it to planning, do they look at the ordinance and then bring it to us?
Yes. Now, I'm not sure what I'm not sure where, if the council wants, if the concern is on subdivisions, that's a simple solution. We can have an ordinance prepared for that. No need for a workshop.
I also believe that it's pretty simple in the other direction, because where there are sidewalks, we can work on getting them repaired. Where there are homes and businesses where there are not sidewalks, but they're already occupied, we can't do anything, if I understand it right. Currently. You can't make somebody put in a sidewalk, correct?
Correct.
Correct.
So there you go. You're done.
Heather, if it's a situation where a pedestrian's health and safety are in jeopardy, would we have any action there?
No.
Okay.
It would probably be the homeowner's liability, right?
So, Mr. McClung, are you wanting a sidewalk ordinance addressing subdivisions?
Well, no, I think that can be worked out, but if somebody wants to look at that, that'd be fine. I'm not really expecting any new subdivisions anytime soon. I'm not too worried about that part. But the sidewalks, any new sidewalks that would go in would be, I think, like East Mountain, like Harry's talking about. It would be the obligation of the city to put that in. And you could try and get people to participate, say you wanted to do that down the road, something like that, there, Pivot Rock, wherever, because it's not developed, or even though they are developed and they're not required to have a sidewalk. So if you're going to make them have a sidewalk, you're going to have to put it in for them. You know, am I making sense? I got it clear here. I'm just not sure if I'm getting it out right.
But that's already approved in the ordinance.
No, there's nothing in the ordinance for that at all.
If we put in a sidewalk, we're responsible, and there's specifications for the sidewalk in the ordinance.
That's right. There is. The requirements are there. It's just what I'm saying is the responsibility of the expense of it would be us.
Sure.
The city. Okay. You're on board, I'm on board.
Okay.
Dude.
All right.
Yeah, I move that we have a workshop
I'm trying to figure out what the workshop's accomplishing.
overhauling our sidewalk ordinance because of half the city, they just say, well, you can build your own sidewalk if you want one, so we'll never get sidewalks. On the whole east side of town, we'll never get a sidewalk. So we have to redo the ordinance so that it mandates that the city eventually will build us a sidewalk.
All right. If we'll work up and get a workshop so you guys can decide where you want to put sidewalks, I guess. Is that what you're saying, Harry?
I think that's what Terry was saying, right?
I might have.
Can we just ask
I don't think
planning
so.
to get a workshop together to revisit our existing sidewalk ordinance?
Beg your pardon?
Can we just get planning to come up and revisit the sidewalk ordinance and give us suggestions.
I think we
What
should.
to add,
That
what to
was
take
my
away.
original.
I know, but it's getting diluted with a lot of other stuff.
It's up to the
Do
council.
you want a motion for that?
Yes.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion that planning come up with a sidewalk workshop so that we can revisit sidewalk ordinances. Yeah, leave it at that.
Second.
All right, motion been made to have the planning commission establish a workshop, sidewalk workshop to present to the city council. All right,
Are we going to have 2 workshops?
No,
We just
one.
We just settled a workshop.
we just had it, there's an ordinance on, there's a motion and a second, Harry.
Okay,
So, any further discussion?
no
All
problem.
in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so moved.
Mr. Mayor, before we move on to new business, can we revisit our appointments?
Oh, absolutely. We'll go back to get a motion to discuss CAPC positions 5 and 6 as city council seats.
So moved.
Second.
All right. As council knows and probably remembers in the past, we have 2 positions available from the city council that are assigned to the CAPC, positions 5 and 6 that represent the city council on the CAPC. In the past, we've done this in several different ways. We have a position number 5, and I guess the first option is who all would like to serve on the position 5? If you want to raise your hand, and then we can go from there.
We don't.
All right, we have 2. Anybody else? All right, second question is, you want to do a roll call vote, or you want to do ballots? If it's ballots, you still have to sign your name. Mr. McClung?
Was there only 2 that were willing to serve?
Only 2 willing to serve for position 5.
I say we just take a vote
All right.
for the 2. I nominate those that raise their hands. David and Susan. How's that?
It was you? Oh, Avanzino and Grinning?
Yeah, I didn't raise my hand, though.
Yeah, Ms. Gruning
Sorry, I missed
and
it.
Mr. Avanzino are the 2 who are interested in serving on position 5. All right, I'm going to say all those in favor of Ms. Gruning, please raise your hand.
Oh,
Looks like 4. Is that a hand up, Mr. McClung?
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, it's a hand up.
Okay, all right. All right, so Ms. Gruning, it looks like you won by acclamation
Congratulations.
on that. So congratulations. All right, that brings us up to position 6. Who would be willing to serve on position 6?
I understood that one.
Just one nomination? One candidate? Is that right?
Yep.
All right. Unless there's a issue, we would go ahead and by acclamation have Mr. Avanzino serve on CAPC. So,
Why not?
all right, so moved. All right, thank you both for serving and taking the time. So, and Mr. Holyfield, thank you for your service on the CAPC for the last 2 years, 3 years. Excellent job. All right, that brings us back up to our other meetings, which comes up to actually rules of proceedings.
Motion to
Rules of
discuss.
Procedures. In your packet, I think, maybe.
There it is.
Yeah. In the past, we have, last year and the year before last, the Municipal League has prepared a procedural rules. It's kind of like a simplified Robert's Rules of Order that we've used. Mr. McClung?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we go ahead for 2026, that we follow the procedural rules for municipal officials as offered by the Arkansas Municipal League.
I'll second that.
All right, Mr. McClung made the motion to utilize the procedural rules for municipal officials as prepared by the Arkansas Municipal League, and Mr. Myers seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, second item of business, meeting dates. Get a motion to discuss.
So moved.
Second.
All right, unless our normal meeting dates is second and the fourth Mondays.
I make a motion that we keep the second and fourth Mondays of the month.
Second.
Don't want to get confused this year, yes.
All right.
I agree.
Okay. That brings, okay. So motion been made and seconded to set second and fourth Mondays of the month for the city council meeting dates at 6 o'clock here in the auditorium basement. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. All right, next is need a nomination for the pro tem for 2026, Mayor Pro Tem. Mr. Almazzino.
I would like to nominate Steve Holyfield for Mayor Pro Tem.
All right. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, Ms. Green. Mr. Myers?
I'll nominate Terry McClung.
Okay. All right.
All right, you're free.
I'm going to do this unless council wishes otherwise, do this by voice vote. So those in favor of Mr. Holyfield for Mayor Pro Tem, signify by saying aye.
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 I think that's 4. Maybe I should have you raise your hands. Yeah. Raise your hands, please, so I can.
Is this high enough, or you mean it?
Yeah, all right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. It looks like Mr. Holyfield, congratulations on Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
All right. Next item of business is a resolution for state-run federal surplus program. Get a motion to discuss.
So moved.
Get a second.
Second.
I don't know whether I have that. No, I got one.
You can have that one.
All right, great. All right, this is just this is a resolution that's supporting reviving the state-run federal surplus property program administered by the state of Arkansas. They were considering at one time removing this from the state, and this is just basically a resolution supporting that they revive this surplus program. We use it, Public Works, and probably Public Works more than anybody, but anyway, this is a good program for the cities, municipalities. So that's what this is about. I don't know if did I get a motion to discuss?
Yes.
And I got a
Yes, you
second
did.
on that
Yes.
too. All right. Any comments?
It's a good deal.
Yeah, it is. All right, if I can get a motion to, we can suspend the rules and assign this a number and place it,
It's a
read it for
res.
passage by title only. Do I hear a motion?
I don't have any kind of a thing to read it off of. Did we get
We're not,
something?
It's in your packet.
Oh, wait, this might be it.
I shoved it in my deal here.
There's a lot in
Want me
the
to do it?
packet.
There it is.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I make a motion, we sign this resolution a number and read it for first reading.
No, we can suspend the rules and read it by title only.
Suspend the rules and read it by title only.
Yeah.
The resolution to support a reviving and state-run federal surplus property program administrated by the state of Arkansas.
Did we do that? We got-
No, she needs.
Second.
All right, we got a motion and a second to suspend the rules and sign this a number and read it for passage by title only.
Resolution number 901, a resolution in support of reviving the state-run federal surplus property program administered by the state of Arkansas.
All right, so moved.
Mr. Mayor, we didn't vote.
Oh, we didn't?
No.
Okay.
We what?
We did not vote.
Right.
All right, we need, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, now you can need to read it again. Sorry.
Now that
Got
we're
confused.
official. Resolution number 901, a resolution in support of reviving the state-run federal surplus property program administered by the state of Arkansas.
All right, now we go. Thank you. All right, next item of business is hospital concerns with Ms. Moyer. Get a motion to discuss.
Motion to discuss?
Second.
All right, Ms. Moyer?
I have some concerns regarding the 2026 proposed budget. Did everyone here, did you get a chance to look at the 2026 proposed budget for the hospital?
No, I have not.
Okay. Well, one of the questions that I had, I don't know if the CEO is here, Sandy's here, was what was used as the basis for the development of the budget?
Primarily, it was based on the existing ER traffic and the development of new revenue sources, expansion of infusion services, hopefully some additional outpatient services.
So I guess what I'm asking is, what documents were used as the basis for the development of the budget? Was it like the 2024 audit? Was it the 2025 financial reports?
You mean what was the basis for the figure?
Yeah.
It was a combination of the two, a combination of looking at where we were in 2025 and then projecting. Tiffany projected out what the additional revenue would be with new services.
Okay. So my ongoing concern, and this is really to council, but anyone else listening, I guess, throughout 2025, that hospital revenue has been either misrepresented or negligently reported, and it's leaving us a bit blind when it comes to making sound financial judgments. I think, obviously, some more things have come to light regarding the backroom financial reporting, but it's now my concern that those reporting mistakes that we have consistently pointed out since April of 2025 have been carried over into the 2026 budget. So I have examples, and these are 3 areas of concern that I wanted to publicly voice so that perhaps some attention will be given to that. The first one is I have a concern that there's an overestimation of revenue. I've been saying this all along, but the adopted 2026 budget projects $10.8 million in patient revenues. If you compare this to the income statements that councils received, patient revenues in 2025 were $8.1 million. That's a difference of $2.7 million. That's a 33% increase in patient revenue. That's very concerning. I think that is overestimated. My second concern is that there's a failure to adequately account for bad debt. The 2026 budget, I think, applies $250,000 toward bad debt. There was no bad debt reported in 2025. Therefore, 2026, the adopted 2026 budget projects an $8.8 million net revenue. Now, if we look back to 2024, we see that the audit that I don't know how to explain this in most simple terms. The 2024 audit adjusted net revenues to $5.6 million. That's on page 30 of the 2024 audit. The audit adjusted bad debt. This is the same audit that was reported as holding only good news. Reported the bad debt to be adjusted for an additional $765,000. What that means is that's an additional $765 that gets subtracted from patient revenue. That was never acknowledged, really. If you fast forward to 2025 financials, I know it's difficult to follow this, but 2025 revenue reported on income statements was down from 2024 by $1.4 million without any adjustment for bad debt. So what I'm saying here is I would expect to see that the bad debt line on the 2026 budget be substantially more than what it is, substantially more than $250,000. So I would appreciate someone taking a look at that. My third area of concern is a failure to adequately project contractual adjustments on patient revenue. So this is where you bill for the service and then you have to contractually adjust for that amount. If the percentage of contractual adjustment on patient revenue in 26 is consistent with what it was in 25, you're going to probably look at like a 68% of patient revenue. That should be about $1 million subtracted from patient revenue and adjustments. So I think basically I'm recommending that the CEO and the interim CFO take a closer look at these three things: patient revenue, which I think is overestimated, bad debt, which I think is underestimated, and contractual adjustments, which I also think are highly underestimated. I don't have to explain that overestimated revenue and underestimated adjustments could leave the hospital in a very undesirable financial situation. Whatever spin follows these comments, remember that the hospital in 2025 started with a bank balance of $7.3 million and in 11 months ended with $4.6 million. The Commission adopted a 2026 budget that continues this trend. We've been saying this all along, but if things don't change, the point at which the hospital bank balance reaches $3 million, I think this body has to think about seriously what we're going to do, because it's like the point of no return. This brings me to my final point of concern. To my knowledge, the Council has highlighted financial concerns for the Commission to address since April of 2025. The Council's concerns have been dismissed by the Hospital Commission Chair. Despite these concerns finding support in the Forvis audit that was published in August of 2025, the Hospital Commission, under the leadership of the Chair, has continued to overlook financial discrepancies at all costs. And that is just a matter of record. We can go to the newspapers, we can go to the meeting minutes, and we can look at that. In December, I began receiving an alarming number of communications regarding the CFO and billing practices, and I requested a meeting with the mayor and the CEO to share the details of these concerns in confidence. I requested the meeting without you, Sandy, and the request was denied. What's clear to me now, and will soon be, if not already, it's already public knowledge, is that the lack of coordinated financial stewardship for our hospital is hurting our community, from inconsistent and inaccurate billing of patients to the non-payment of vendors and contractors. I repeat, the Hospital Commission, which is the entity responsible for oversight, under the leadership of its chair, has continued to overlook financial discrepancies at all costs. Evidence suggests that the chair unilaterally acts on behalf of the Commission, which is also a matter of record, and I believe that if our hospital has any chance of improving, new leadership is needed. I've given this a lot of thought, and I move that the chair be removed from the Hospital Commission for ineffective financial oversight and a vote of no confidence. And I encourage other council members to do the same so that we can allow the CEO and the CFO an opportunity to rebuild and to save our hospital. I'm moving that the chair be removed.
I'll second that.
I have a motion that, and a second that the chair be removed. Discussion. Mr. McClung?
Yeah, are you removing her from the commission in total, or just out of the chairmanship? Is that?
Removing her from the commission.
Okay, so that's not just the chairmanship, it's removing her from the commission. in total. How do you replace the commissioner or the boss?
The
chair.
They would have to meet.
They would do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'd be lacking one person on the commission. Any further discussion? All right, hearing none. Been a motion made to remove the chairperson, Sandy Martin, from the commission. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Let's have a roll call.
Mr. McClung,
Oh, I get to go first, do I?
you're first on the list.
Yes.
Mr. Meyer,
Yes, regretfully.
Ms. Moyer,
Yes.
Mr. Avanzino,
Yes.
Mr. Holyfield.
No.
Was that a no, Mr. Holyfield?
No.
Thank you. Ms. Gruning?
Yes.
Okay. It's 5 yes, all right. All right. Thank you very much. All right. Next, is there any other item of business? Ms. Moyer?
No.
All right. All right, next item of business is the Downtown Permanent Entertainment District. Mr. Holyfield,
Move to discuss.
get a second.
Second.
Okay. I think, Mr. Collin, is this your project? You want to come up and talk to us a little bit about it?
Before he speaks, may I say something?
Certainly.
Okay. We've had a downtown entertainment district on the ballot, or at the council that was passed some years ago. The ordinance, the state law has been changed since then, because at that time, only one entertainment district could be allowed in a city at one time. Now, the voters petitioned, got it on the ballot, and defeated it, just killed it. So now we're going to defy the voters again and pass another entertainment district for downtown? I don't think that's fair. I mean, I don't think that's right. So if this council passes this entertainment district, and I understand that it's legal, we can legally do this, but when the voters go, and this is an election year, and the voters circulate a petition and get it put on the ballot, then this entertainment district is dead until the election.
Not necessarily.
Yes, it is.
We've gone through this with the other permanent entertainment
Okay,
district.
well, let's ask the city attorney.
What's the question?
The question is, if the voters put together a petition to kill this entertainment district,
Just to put it on the ballot.
to put it on the ballot,
Okay.
this entertainment district will be on hold until it's voted on.
I'm not sure that's accurate. I will check on that. I think until it's repealed by the voters, it's law if you guys pass it.
Well,
I'll check into that to be
please
sure.
do.
But
I know Forrest had a different opinion, but that's what happened last time, too. It was dead until it went to the voters.
No, I don't think
Permanent
so.
entertainment district at Pine Mountain is still in existence.
I'm talking about this right here, what's on the, I'm not talking about it.
There is a
I fully understand what you're talking about, but don't change the subject. I'm talking about this.
I'll check on that and find out for sure.
And the last time it was on, the last time when it was voted, when got enough signatures and it was approved to go on the ballot, there never was a downtown entertainment district at that time. Remember? There was not. That's all I got to say.
Mayor.
Ms. Moyer?
Well, I would just say the fact that there was a referendum before concerned me as well, but I would remind that that was during COVID, and it was a very different situation, right? It was like...
I think it was before.
No, it was way before.
It was before?
It was before, well before.
Yeah. It was in place.
That's not my memory, but
Anyway, your point's
it's not
taken.
very dependable.
All right. Ms. Groening, do you have a question?
So, and just to comment back to you, Harry, about the voters, we do respect the voters very much, and they will have the opportunity if they don't agree with this. But that doesn't mean that we have other people that don't support it as well. And to stay vibrant in our city, to compete with other neighboring towns, it's not an ongoing event, right? It's just to be able to say, wow, it's a great day out here. I'm going to go sit in the park and people watch with a beer. It's not that it's going to create more drinking. It's not that
Of
we're
course it
having
is.
live music, events, and entertainment districts are two different things. So I just wanted to point that out.
Mr. Mayor,
Chavazina?
I thought Harry was done.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring up a few things. I mean, like Harry has said, voters did already say no pre-COVID. I've gotten numerous phone calls from residents that live downtown that do not want this. I have also spoken with a lot of business owners, bars and restaurants outside of the downtown district that were never included in this process. So it kind of feels like we're being excluded from an entertainment district. Because, I mean, let's face it, an entertainment district is appeasing to the businesses and tourists downtown. All for the tourists, yeehaw, let's go. However, we've excluded other businesses on 62, and there are several of us that were never included that we will likely we will not benefit from this program at all, from this entertainment district. So I guess my final question is this in the interest of the residents who have already said no, or is it in the interest of businesses downtown?
Mr. Holyfield?
So how many years ago was that vote? Several years ago.
at least 5.
Is there a limit on how many times we can put this on a ballot or something? I
No,
don't think.
it's a different district.
Right. So when Mr. Polk called me, Mr. Polk owns a couple businesses and runs a couple businesses here in town. As a member of our business community, asked me to put it on the agenda tonight. I'm willing to listen, and I think we all should listen. And if it does pass through us and goes on the ballot, then I welcome the citizens to vote on it again. That's the process. I don't think we should be trying to block it just because it's some vote several years ago. Things have changed, and that, if I remember right, that vote several years ago was pretty close. It wasn't killed it. Majority of people said no. It was very close. So I welcome Mr. Polk to tell us he's done a lot of work on this, a lot of research. I would like to hear what he has to say about it, and thank you.
Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Meyer?
Believe it or not, a lot of the young people today do not drink as much as we did when we were younger and partying. In fact, they avoid drunken gatherings. So if we're here to draw people, if this is to draw more people here, which is, of course, that's the reason, right?
I haven't said
Before
that yet.
someone else does it, we got to do it here now. I mean, that was what what Mr. DeVito did when it first got passed. He was scared, tried to scare us to death by telling us if we don't do it, they're going to do it over there, and then we're gone. We're going to be underwater. We're not going to be able to have tourists here because they can drink on the street in Rogers, Arkansas. This is just not true. What is the proper reason for doing this? What is the reason? There's trash. I leave his bar with a cup, and I walk down the street and I drink that cup, and then I can't go into the next drinking establishment with that cup to get it filled. That's against ABC rules. So I'll throw it on the ground and then go in and get another cup. Or I'll go to my car and refill. No. I don't think we need to encourage alcoholism. I'm sorry. I don't think we need to give people more opportunities to drug themselves, to poison themselves. No. That's all.
Ms. Almanzino?
I don't think any of us are encouraging alcoholism or drug addiction. That's a disease. None of us here at this table have anything to do with it. So even though I agree with what you said about voter stuff, I don't agree with what you just said at all. And at that point, I would really like to hear what Colin has to say.
Please. All right. Floor is yours, Colin.
Colin Polk, 36 Dawson Road. I also own the Spring on Main. Yeah, I do have a vested interest in this. I do have a restaurant right across the street, so having an entertainment district, I'll be the first to tell you, I would benefit. I'm not here to hide that. I do want to talk about inclusion and exclusion. I went to a lot of places, made a lot of phone calls to try and get the bulk of people's feelings. I didn't go to a lot of the small shops and things. But I mostly went to the bar owners in the district that I'm looking to accomplish. No, it's not a full citywide entertainment district. So there will be people not included, like the Highway 62. But that doesn't mean that those places can't create their own entertainment district. That's their prerogative. All they have to do is get an ordinance passed through City Council. That being said, I'm here today to talk about a downtown entertainment district. Why should we have a downtown entertainment district? Like Ms. Gruning said, sometimes it's nice to sit in a park and drink a beer and listen to music. Or just the other night we had Bash with a Splash, and there was quite a lot of people there, and we had 0 incidents with alcoholism. But I'm not saying this is going to be a giant economic impact. It's not going to bring in a boatload of people to Eureka Springs. I don't think it's not going to be a big boom. We're not going to see that. And that being said, since there isn't going to be an economic boom, we're not going to see piles of empty beer cans lying around in the streets. We're not going to have those issues. Also with the fact that drinking is on the decline, that's all over the place. You can look anywhere. Wine's down, liquor's down, beer's down, everything's down. So that means that, yeah, you're not going to have a whole bunch of new people in here drinking. It's not a huge thing like some people would like it to be. However, Mountain Home, Arkansas, I went to high school there. I'm not sure if y'all are familiar with how Mountain Home is, but whenever I found out that they had an entertainment district, I was kind of shell-shocked. I was like, Mountain Home is the first city in Arkansas to have an entertainment district. It blew my mind, and it still blows my mind to this day. And they're doing fantastic with it. And yet, it did bring a lot of economic benefit to them, I think mostly because they were the first ones in the state to do it. But now Rogers has one, Fayetteville has one, like some of them have multiple. Rogers has a couple. And they're not having any issues. Actually, they have a lot of events. They have music outdoors. They have all kinds of concert series and things like that where they don't have to apply for temporary entertainment districts every single time they want to do one of these things 60 days out and hope it gets approved and go through all the channels just to get my permit to serve champagne for New Year's Eve, which is actually Prosecco. It took almost 2 months just to get that from the ABC. I got it literally December 30th. I went and picked it up from Little Rock because they hadn't finished it until that day. So it would be easier for all these events that we have downtown and all these temporary entertainment districts that we have constantly downtown that don't have any issues, by the way. We've only had one complaint about our entertainment districts. Some guy was apparently somewhere he shouldn't have been with a beer bottle in a parking lot. He didn't realize the rules of the entertainment district. He was educated on them. Nobody was hurt. Everything was fine. But that's the only issue I've ever heard of. I think what will start to matter is whenever people go places, they get accustomed to how things work everywhere. And whenever you start going to places that, oh, I can just take this out. We get all the time a question over there, hey, can I take this with me? I'm done eating. I want to take the rest of my drink to go. Can you put it in a plastic cup? I'm like, I'm sorry, we don't do that here. People aren't necessarily going to come here for that, but that's going to leave a bad taste in their mouth. And so whenever they're like, oh, I'm used to doing that literally everywhere else I go, why would I want to come back here whenever I couldn't do that? And so I don't see it being a huge economic benefit. I don't see it turning people away or driving a bunch of people to town. But it's one more thing that we can offer people in our downtown area. So that being said, I would like to kind of go on like how I plan to see this thing run. I gave you guys a couple maps. I'm not sure. I tried to call everyone and talk to everyone. Rochelle, I'm sorry I didn't get to you. I heard you were out of town. I tried to call you this morning, but I know it's a little late. The boundaries, I gave y'all 2 maps. One of them needs to be tweaked a little bit. I was going to go for the big map. There's some issues with Highway 23 and crosswalks and crossing it that I think can be overcome in the future, but I think right now if we went with the smaller of the 2 maps, that the smaller one needs to be tweaked so it doesn't cross 23 right there by the odd. I kind of messed up on my map, but I just wanted to point that out. So it should not cross 23 at all. And so I would like to do a downtown entertainment district in that boundary, 7 days a week, 10 to 10. So one of the other big issues that I've heard about entertainment districts, really, there's 2 issues that I've heard about temporary entertainment districts, is communication and the lack of it. Me as a business owner, if I get to work in the morning and didn't know there was an entertainment district, how are we supposed to expect the tourists to know what's going on? To know what the rules are, to know what the regulations are, what they can and can't do. Because if the business owners don't know, our staff doesn't know, and they can't voice it to them either. And I even got told by Chelsea's, like, she shouldn't show up, Stick shouldn't show up to work at 8 o'clock in the morning and Center Street be shut down for something that she didn't know about. And I'm not saying that anybody's in fault there, but communication is being broken down. So one of the biggest ways, I think, to get over that communication hurdle is to have all the rules and regulations, the maps for all of the districts, temporary, Pine Mountain, and downtown, on a singular city webpage, and have that webpage be easily accessible. We already have a yellow wristband rule. I think that wristband rule, I've included a little printout of a mock-up template. It doesn't have a QR code on that, but that is definitely what's kind of, I think, pushed this along into favor, is having a QR code on that wristband, excuse me, that goes to that city page. So anybody who gets that drink to go, any patron or tourist that, or even local, that wants to not even go buy a beer to go walk down the street with it, but hey, I'm finished eating, I want to finish the half of this I have walking our beautiful streets. they can do so. And so whenever they get one of these wristbands, it has the hours of operation, it has that it's the downtown entertainment district, it has drink responsibly. You may still be ID'd with this wristband on. It is not a Post-it note saying, hey, I'm 21. You can still be ID'd, and as a matter of fact, I know I plan on IDing them, Chelsea's plans on IDing them, everyone plans on IDing people because we don't trust today's world, and things are easily overcome, keeping honest people honest. And so that, I think, should definitely be on there. The QR code, scan here for rules and information, even have a link to the website if we need to. I think that'll go a long way in the communication breakdown. For all those businesses that want to opt out, the ABC requires the city to inform them of entertainment districts within 10 days of starting the entertainment district. They have to be informed of opt-outs, which an opt-out is, I'm going to keep using Chelsea's as an example. If Chelsea's didn't want to sell their drinks to go, they refused to put them in plastic containers or whatever containers and say, you can take one. They're not going to let that happen. They're supposed to let us know so that we can let the ABC know, which is their prerogative. That's totally fine. And I don't think they're planning on doing that. I'm just using them as an example. We're also, there is no two entertainment district rule. There's no law about that. Sorry, I'm trying to make sure I'm trying to hit all those points I heard bouncing around. So for all those businesses that don't want to be included or even do, because I'm going to have one of these on my door, if you're a restaurant or a bar owner, like Harry said, I can't go into that business, or they're not going to let me go into that business with a drink. We sell drinks. Why would we let you come in? It's not like you're going to bring your McDonald's into the restaurant and us not be like, hey, that's not cool. And so I've designed window clings, which I also gave you an image of. It's got the Eureka Springs logo on it, which has to be approved before it gets in use. But the CAPC did send me that to mock these up. But that window cling would be given free to all businesses in the entertainment district. And it goes on their door if they choose to put it on their door, and it says no outside drinks allowed in this establishment. Please consume or dispose of them properly. Thanks for complying. And it also has the QR code on there. That way, if I'm walking around town, I start to see this window cling places, it clicks to me. I know where to go. I know what to look for. It tells me and communicates to me what I'm allowed to do and what not allowed to do. And so I think that'll go a long way with those businesses who don't want to have to tell everybody that tries to walk in their door, hey, you can't have that in here, please turn around. They should already have that in their face before they ever walk into that business. Signage. So I've worked with Simon, who I cannot blame for getting out of here soon. On the map, there's little speech bubbles. Those are places where signage would go. It can obviously be modified if the chief thinks that there needs to be more or less of them. But Simon didn't see any issues getting signs up saying you're entering and leaving the entertainment district. I think those signs, we already have some already. Most of them are like the triangle easel signs, but they need to have the QR code on them as well. Everything that we produce should have that QR code that has the rules and regulations. That way, nobody can say that they don't know what's going on. Containers. So your alcoholic containers, nobody wants to have somebody go into their car and filling up beers. What's to stop them from doing that now? I'm not really sure. It's the law. But no glass, I think it's obvious. Right now we have a plastic rule with our temporary entertainment district. I did run into some issue with the plastic rule over the last couple weeks. I was going to serve a hot spiced wine for New Year's Eve as well. It's called Glühwein in Germany. It's a holiday wine. But it's weird serving a hot beverage in plastic. And so I think that ought to be changed a little bit. And I put in here like kind of specifics. It shouldn't be glass, and it shouldn't be the original container the alcohol came in. It should be either plastic or paper, but it should be marked in some way. Like all of ours has the Spring on Main logo on them. I think it should be marked by the establishment that gave it to you. That way you can differentiate where they started from, maybe. I mean, maybe they're still at their car filling it up. I mean, that's never going to be known. You'll never be able to prove any of that. However, it is shown that it would be beneficial to not just have things in a singular plastic cup. I also don't think a plastic cup that somebody would have to buy from like the city or whatever. Plastic cups, they can be pretty expensive, so I don't want to force everyone to use one thing. And also, you wouldn't serve a beer and a wine in the same quantities. And so having a singular plastic cup, I mean, you're looking at hot and cold beverages, you're looking at different size beverages. So I think if we go back to not glass and not in the original container, I think that'll help with what we're trying to accomplish, which is mostly just no glass. But we also want people to buy their beverages from business owners in the downtown. So I originally was going to go with a push for a Thursday through Sunday 10 to 10 entertainment district. But after talking with some people in town, the idea was kind of like, why not do it on a Wednesday, or why not a Monday? Like, we want weekdays in town to give people more of a reason to come here. And like I said earlier, I don't think it's going to be a huge driver. It's not going to be some giant economic spike that you can see in our numbers. But if we're putting events on Wednesdays like the Splash was, I mean, that's just one thing you'd have to apply for another temporary entertainment district for. Weekdays are slower, so you wouldn't have as many people on the streets drinking anyway. So I don't see why a Tuesday would be different than a Friday. So I am pushing for 7 days a week, 10 to 10. 10 a.m. is the earliest you can serve, and the reason I go with 10 a.m. is because Saturday and Sundays, whenever people are waiting at our door for brunch, they like to get a Bloody Mary or mimosa in our courtyard and wait for their table. And so you do have people who are getting up from their Friday evening in town and they want to go do something fun and walk the streets and get brunch and do those things. So it is something that people are wanting to do. And so I think the biggest thing is communication. And as far as the inclusion and exclusion goes, I'd like it to go all the way to Cat House and then all the way up to Haunted Grounds, or down to Haunted Grounds, and even include brews. I've been speaking with the police chief, and there's some issues with Highway 23, not enough crosswalks. The Skywalk is crossing onto private property, as well as all of those parking lots are private property. So where would they really be but other than just on the sidewalk with nowhere to go? And it seems like all of these parking lots are fair game. So you'd have to have signage all the way up and down these private parking lots saying otherwise. And then you're inviting people to try and cross the street where there's no crosswalks is also an issue. A hurdle that can be overcome, but for now, I think we should start small and work on those issues once we have an established set of rules and boundaries, and we can easily extend those boundaries whenever people want to be included, as long as we can overcome those hurdles. And I think Billy had a great idea with setting up a committee once we get this thing going of trying to figure out how to overcome those hurdles and improve on the things that hopefully we start here today. Yeah.
I have a couple of points. First of all, Colin, you and I did speak about this. I remember
It was a
several
while
months
ago.
ago. It's been a while. And I am not against entertainment districts, but I am against putting a cart before a horse. And you and I had that discussion, and I was all for it. And then after speaking with the residents and other business owners, I'm sort of on the fence. And I want to bring up the points that have been brought up to me regarding this entertainment district. So you had even mentioned that you did not expect any kind of economic boom for this plan. And I guess my question is, if there's not going to be a boom to businesses, why bring it up in the first place? We'll leave that there. This entertainment district will essentially limit any kind of organic growth. We already have retail operators in downtown that complain that no business is coming, they're not getting traffic. And with an entertainment district, allowing someone to walk around with a drink in their hand, they're going to go right past a retail operator. Okay? I do have a feeling that this is going to require a significant amount of public investment into infrastructure, policing, and maintenance, which right now we're already strained as it is, and we're already talking about budget cuts because of things like that. So those are things that I think should be addressed. Some of these I'm going to leave out, but we also have the noise and disorder, which any entertainment district is going to feel that. We already have businesses downtown that do not follow the noise ordinance when it comes to 10 p.m. You can hear music going on until 1 a.m. at times. So what is going to be in place? Who's going to manage this other than the city and our police department? That kind of stuff. Yeah, noise, safety, trash, I think those have already been brought up. And the exclusionary fuel. To me, a set entertainment district downtown is going to become a tourist-focused zone, leaving other businesses that rely on tourism out of this loop, which I don't want to see happen to McGarrity's or the brewery over there or La Familia or my own business. So that's where I stand on this, and I'm willing to have however many discussions we need to have, but I'm not yet willing to give a green light to an entertainment district where I have all these questions.
Okay, well, I can answer some of those questions. I sat down with Simon with Public Works, the fire marshal, the fire chief, and the police chief in a meeting, all four of them together. And the consensus was that there's going to be no extra EMS, no extra police presence. We already have a lot of signage for these. And as far as budget goes, it's going to be $1,000 startup. I was hoping the chamber was going to vote this morning on a way to fund it. My original plan was to, there's 5,000 wristbands for $250. If they double what they sell these wristbands to the bar owners, because we're going to have to give them out, then they should be able to make enough money off of that to repair signs in the future. Window clings were a couple $100 to blanket the area. And so just for those two items, you're looking at less than $500. And then there's seven signs on there. Simon said signs are anywhere from $50 to $100 depending on their size. And these would be on poles and stuff like that, so they wouldn't have to be massive. A couple spots, we might want a bigger sign. Maybe on weekends we put one out. But there's not really a massive infrastructure change that needs to happen. And we already have a bunch of trash receptacles downtown. And I believe I heard earlier tonight a statement about how clean our town was. And so here's the two sides of the fence, in my opinion. We have a economic plateau. This doesn't affect our economy. It affects the people who are already here, and they just have a better time because of it. That means that you're not going to have a bunch of trash. You're not going to have a bunch of noise. Let's not forget that these aren't going to bring in 5,000 people like our events do. I don't expect this to, all of a sudden, Eureka's just full constantly, 7 days a week. I would love that. If that's what this accomplished, I mean, let's all pat ourselves on the back and call it a day. But let's be realistic. That's not what's going to happen here. And so if that's the case, you're not going to have all this trash and all these other issues that are being brought up. So, but if it is that big economic boom, then we'll have the extra tax dollars to take care of that. When I have to add more trash receptacles, I really don't see that being an issue. I don't see it bringing in that many people. As far as the events, they're their own thing. They're already supposed to go to the police chief and the fire chief and talk to them about public safety and extra manpower for those events. And those are event things. Just like noise. Me drinking down the street doesn't mean that there's a bunch of noise happening. Yeah, you get people yelling down the street all the time. You get people drinking on the street all the time. What's to stop people from doing illegal things? I mean, so all of these I think are just, they're not really necessarily about the entertainment district. They're about events that happen, and we have entertainment districts around because of those events. So all these temporary event districts that we've had have been because of an event that brings in a lot of people. This is going to be an all the time thing. It's not going to just flux of people come in and just live here all the time. And yeah, people aren't drinking anymore. The numbers are going down, so if people aren't drinking, then what's the problem? There's not trash. So I'm still trying to wrap my head around that.
Mr. Meyer?
The major source of our tax income is retail. What's on Spring Street? A lot of retailers. Now, folks don't remember, maybe Butch does, but last time this was proposed, and all the proponents came in here by the dozens, oh, everybody's for it. Well, I went and I made a survey, self-addressed, stamped. It didn't come to me. Nobody had to sign it. I took this query to every retailer on Spring Street, Main Street, and whatever. I even checked with them. Did you get it? Did you get it? Blah, 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 blah. A lot of people responded, probably as many as you could probably imagine. And what was it? 49% said, oh yeah, we don't care. 51% said no, we don't want it. We don't want people trying to come in here with a drink in their hand. It's not going to help our business any. And if you look at the young people that are here, that come here to go do their spring shopping, young women that come to buy their school clothes and things that aren't old enough to drink, I don't know that they're going to be impressed by somebody next to them with a beer in their hand. I mean, people are drinking in bars, yes, now. But they're drinking in the bar. They're not drinking on the street. They're not spilling it on the person that's walking next to them on the sidewalk. There's lots of things to consider, and I do not see any benefit from this. None whatsoever. And there was a lot of bullying last time. There were bar owners that were bullied by other people because you better say you're going to participate in this or we're going to turn our business away from you. Yes, that happened.
Ms. Moyer, you have a question?
First of all, I wanted to say I can tell you've done a lot of work on this, and I want to acknowledge that. I appreciate that you came to this meeting prepared, and you have some really interesting perspectives, and I've argued your point really well. So the pieces of this that I'm concerned about primarily relate to, so typically these kinds of things get presented because they have economic benefit. That's the usual argument, right? And then the trade-offs to that are that oftentimes, you end up with more trash and all the things we've talked about. Those are actually still my concerns, even if, based on your perspective, we're not bringing a lot more people, so there's not a mass of people. Just the behavior itself lends to possibly more trash and also other behaviors that cities don't particularly like. And that's really the point that I wanted to make right here, which is from a purely economic standpoint, it's hard to say no to a permanent entertainment district, in my mind, and for a lot of other cities. But cities have the perspective of the public good. And so we have to consider what are the implications of more trash, more noise, more complaints, more underage drinking, more loitering, more things, impacts to other retailers and businesses. Those are all of our concerns as well. So I am concerned that the police chief and Simon didn't maybe see that there are impacts to having a permanent entertainment district 7 days a week from 10 to 10, because I think that there may be some added burden to them, or if not added burden, then some negative impacts to the cleanliness of our streets, et cetera, et cetera. I appreciate your argument that if there's not a mass of people, then there's not that happening, but I'm not convinced. So I'd really like for them to take a look at that more seriously. I know El Dorado, there's other cities in Arkansas that have put in permanent entertainment districts in the last 3 years, and they report all of those things happening. So it would be odd that those things don't accompany a permanent entertainment district in my mind. The only other thing that I have kind of burning in my mind, question-wise, is probably for the attorney, and that is, I know we've drafted these before apparently, but how are they drafted to limit liability for the city? Permanent entertainment district.
What kind of liability? You have tort immunity.
You have people walking the streets with alcohol, open alcohol containers, whatever things that they have, whatever behaviors they do, there's no repercussions on the city at all.
You have tort immunity.
Okay. I mean, if there's no legal you're saying there's absolutely no legal drawback to having open containers on the streets of the city, no matter what happens.
I mean, you can always be sued, but you have
immunity.
You have immunity
Under
for
all
torts.
conditions.
Right.
Bad publicity.
I mean, intentional
Well,
conduct
the
is
reputation
different,
is a different
but
thing, sure.
for negligence, cities in Arkansas have tort immunity.
Okay. I just want to verify, yeah.
I have a lot to say, and the last part was on what you just brought up, Rochelle, is that, and this is another question for Heather, I get that we have tort immunity, however, that does not limit the liability of business owners that are serving this alcohol. They will still be liable under the Dram Shop Act.
Right.
And even more so, and I get asked this every single year that my liquor liability insurance policy comes, is they ask me, are you in an entertainment district? And so I think you've opened a can of worms here, Colin. And,
No.
I mean, I'm glad you did, because we're having a great discussion about it, and I do appreciate that. But, some of the questions just in the last time that I had the floor that I'm asking again are, first, the Dram Act law, if I'm saying that correctly, I think I am. The protection of servers that are serving this alcohol, the business owners who are also responsible for monitoring that person in their bar. And that law, the Dram Shop law, also says once that person leaves your bar, you are also liable if something was to happen to them. So the city may have immunity, but we as business owners do not have that immunity. So that's one thing I want to bring up there. And you had also made a comment about, why are we entertaining temporary entertainment districts every time something comes up? My question to you is, why not? We make money off of these temporary things and these events in town. So
the event.
I'm not saying that we shouldn't. I'm just saying this would save a lot of people some time.
You wouldn't have to do it again, temporary if you have a permit.
And I forgot to respond to one of the things you stated earlier. I wrote it down, I just glazed over it. And you're talking about traffic, it being like a traffic stop for those people for those retail shops that people don't want to go into because they've got a drink in their hand. I get there's some places sell art. They don't want people to have any kind of food or drink in their establishment, be it a bottle of water or whatever. But you don't have to put one of these window clings on your door. You don't have to disallow people from coming into your place. I get that some retail shops absolutely want to, and I totally understand that, and that's their prerogative. As far as bars and immunity, we are required to respond to the ABC within 10 days with anybody who wants to opt out. And so I'm totally for having an opt-out page that we can bring with the window clings that says, if you're a bar or a restaurant or somewhere that has a liquor permit, because it's only liquor permits that matter for the opt-out as far as the ABC is concerned. If you're one of these establishments that doesn't want to serve alcohol in a plastic cup to go, we literally have to notify the ABC of it within 10 days. And so the DRAM law, did I say that right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, I mean, anybody who's in fear for that law, which every bar owner should have that in their mind constantly anyway, over-serving, teaching their staff about proper techniques. There's forms, I'm sure you're well aware of, that the ABC makes the server fill out that goes over all of that stuff. A server awareness form is what it's called. But those bars that are concerned about that or worried about that, all they have to do is opt out. There's no extra legal issue for them unless they choose to be a part of the entertainment district.
Colin, sorry to interrupt. Let me, if you're going from bar A to bar B to bar C that is in the entertainment district, and this person has been served at bar A, we'll say 4 or 5 drinks. You go to bar B, 4 or 5 more drinks. Bar C, 4 or 5 more drinks. You know it happens, so it happens. And something happens to that person drinking. We are all immune. But me as a business owner in that entertainment district would not be immune if something was to happen to that person, or that person causes harm to another person that may not have been drinking at all.
And that's the case even if there's not an entertainment district.
Exactly. But I'm just saying
that's what I keep saying. Like, we're bringing up all these points of like, what if this happens? Like, that has nothing to do with the entertainment district. Like I mean, it does, but it's also like it's not gonna. I don't see where that's a factor.
Ms. Groening?
A couple of points that I heard. So I think you would want to, when somebody comes in and asks for drinks, whether you have an entertainment district or not, you have to make that choice then to serve them or to not serve them regardless. Sure. And then as far as noise goes, it's not an event. It's just people being allowed to walk around. And so I don't know that there's going to be any decibel issues with noise. And I really don't see anybody gathering in the park with a bunch of drinks to create that noise at any one given time.
Mr. McClung?
Yeah, I am all for any business person or group of business owners trying to increase tax revenue for the city. I think that's great, and I'm all for it, all of it within reason. I mean, and I have no problem with it, none. Look how much it helped Pine Mountain Village. Oh, wait a minute, maybe you don't want to look at that. But you know, if you can, you know, work out the details on the inclusion and the exclusion, I don't have a problem. I'm ready to vote anytime. But I think you just got to get the details worked out. But I'm afraid to make a motion because I don't know if I can do you any good.
I appreciate
Mr.
that.
Olifield?
Well, we're not inventing the wheel here, and we're not the first city in Arkansas proposing a permanent entertainment district. So a lot of these questions and problems have already been worked out, I'm sure, somewhere else.
So we're unique.
So I like the fact that it ends at 10 p.m. And I'm not a serious drinker. I'm home usually in bed by 10 p.m. To me, the serious drinkers are the ones that are still out there at midnight and 1 o'clock, and they're the ones getting drunk and screaming and hollering. So the 10 p.m. it really thrills me about this. I think that's a great cutoff time. And we've had so many temporary entertainment districts in this town in the past year. How many? Several. And what the police chief reports that we have not had any problems with the temporary entertainment districts.
Zero.
I think since this will not be a focused event, this will be kind of take your drink and you can walk around with it. And the shops can say you can come in with a drink if they don't decide not to post it, right?
That's the idea.
Yeah, so they can come in and shop. So that might be a draw for some people. And, and I'd have a much bigger problem if the police chief was up here screaming, this is a terrible idea, let's don't do this would be horrible. But you've talked to him and he's been fine with this. And when he's here, we can ask him ourselves. But, but all the other temporary entertainment districts, he's been very supportive of. I don't think we should make a motion tonight. I want to hear what people have to say. And I think we should postpone any kind of making a decision about this until at least next meeting, and ask to be put on the agenda for next meeting. And let us hear from the people, and let's research it. Let's find out what other cities have done, what their experience is. So,
You want to make a motion?
I make a motion that we postpone this until our next meeting. Just put it on the agenda.
Second.
All right, we got a motion to defer this to our next meeting, and a second by Mr. McClung. Any further discussion? You got a motion? No, it's got to do with deferring it. We can't talk about, it's only the motions on the table to defer it. You have a motion you want to discuss about deferring it?
I had a question for him, so.
No, it's about deferring it. That's the discussion. Okay. If there's no further discussion, all those in favor of deferring this to the next meeting, signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, we will bring this back up at our next meeting. Thank you.
Colin, can you call me?
All right. Thank you. All right, that concludes our business for tonight. Get an agenda setting. I'm sure you guys will be throwing up some stuff. And one of the items will be, of course, the entertainment district. All right, city council comments. Ms. Grunding, I'll start on your end. We'll go from here.
So I was in New York quite a bit over the holidays. I missed our New Year's here. I do want to talk to the city inspector and Casey to thank them for coming back with the report. At least it gets the ball rolling on sidewalks, and for that, I'm pretty excited about. That's really all I got.
Mr. Holyfield.
CAPC workshop this Thursday at 5 p.m. The meeting's the 28th. That's the last time I'll be making that announcement, so somebody else will have to pick that up. I talked to a lot of people in town. I went to Dr. Hull's dermatology clinic last week, and she's a doctor that comes over from Fayetteville or somewhere. And I hope everybody knows that these clinics are available through the hospital. And she's a wonderful doctor. It's a great experience. And it's really important that we keep her health up. But I'm really thankful that some of these doctors are coming over here instead of everybody driving over there and making that. Dr. Hull, I really recommend her. I believe in separation of church and state, so I just make that statement just before I say St. James Church, who caught fire June 2023, reopened Christmas Eve for services. And it's better than it was before. I'm glad our community has their church back and for people to go to. It's a wonderful little church that's been part of this community for many, many, many years. So, and I did check LB's title as superintendent of the cemetery. And he's the one that's in charge of hiring, firing, supervising, all that stuff. So just want to clarify that. So thank you.
All right. Mr. Avanzino.
First, I want to thank the hospital employees that have emailed again, and those that showed up to speak and say what they needed to say. I do appreciate that, hearing that. I also want to thank the staff of the CAPC and what they did for our New Year's Eve celebration. I was not able to attend, but I tried watching it on the YouTube live channel. It was not as exciting, I'm sure, but anyway. I want to welcome Sue to the CAPC. Yes, you have to be there Thursday. Also to Colin, yeah, he's still here. I really do appreciate you bringing what you brought to the table. I appreciate the conversation. I would love to be able to sit outside of this forum and have discussion or debate back and forth of maybe this, what if. I would also love to hear discussions on pros and cons for cities in Arkansas that have the same thing. So, yeah, that's all I have.
Ms. Moyer?
I did want to acknowledge Paul Sutherland and Cassie's work on the sidewalk, what would you call it, inventory. I know that must have been a tremendous amount of work, and I didn't get to really look through the report, so I look forward to looking through all of that. I appreciate you putting that together. I also wanted to acknowledge I did see a letter from the hospital CEO in our packet. I haven't had a chance to read that yet, so I'll look forward to reading that. And I am really proud of our city, and our city really shines, especially in like special events like the New Year's Eve. Everybody, despite all the differences and debates on everything, we all figure out a way to come together and make really awesome events like that happen. And we had guests who were like so excited and happy. It just made them so happy. And that's what this town does for people. So that is a group effort, and I just want to acknowledge all the work that goes into making that happen.
Mr. Moyer? Mr. Meyer?
He's someplace else.
Yes, he is.
It looks very different.
Well, Happy New Year, everyone. This is our first meeting of the year, and I had a lot of fun in New Orleans for about a week. Wish I could have stayed a little longer. But, and on the serious note, I really have to say that we should probably put our flags at half-staff for Miss Renee Good, who was murdered in Minneapolis, Minnesota. If there ever was a murder of an innocent person, it was her, and it's horrible. And I hope ICE doesn't mess with us any. That's all.
Mr. McClung?
I'm hungry. Let's go home.
All right, got a couple of things. I want to recognize several people, including the CAPC and Mike Maloney and Jack Moyer for helping ramrod the New Year's Eve bash. It was quite an event. A lot of people in town, a lot of good activities and stuff. Terry and I are probably one of the few looking around this place that can remember what this town looked like back in the 70s in not only January 1, but December 1. There wasn't anybody in town. You could roll a bowling ball down the street. So we've come a long ways, and it's thanks to the CAPC and people like Mr. Moyer and others for coming up with these events. On that same note, we've got the Ozark Mountain Music Festival, which is better known as Osmo Moo, which will be January 15th through the 18th in downtown Eureka Springs. And I believe that will be at the Basin Park. Also, we've gotten known for our Mardi Gras, so we'll have the Taste of Mardi Gras starting Saturday, January 17th, 4 to 7. The crew of Crazo will have an enchanting afternoon of culinary delights in the heart of Eureka Springs as the flavor, sounds, and Mardi Gras of Boundless. The Brothers Comatose, Saturday night, 7 o'clock from 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. at the auditorium. It's an old school string instrumentation with rock and roll exuberance. The Crescent Hotel will be having a paranormal weekend, the 15th annual ESP weekend at the Crescent, January 23rd through the 24th. This 48-hour experience is going to be guided by the hotel's ghost tour team and includes small group investigation, access to off-tour spaces, and hands-on exploration of unexplained phenomena. So, and on a good note too, I want to recognize, Eureka Springs is proudly acknowledges Corporal Dylan Gresham and Officer Drew Walker for being named 2025 Northwest Arkansas and Carroll County Officer of the Year in recognition of their extraordinary courage and selfless service. On March 25th, 25, Corporal Gresham and Officer Walker demonstrated exceptional bravery when they entered a burning building without hesitation, risking their own lives to rescue 2 individuals and their dogs. Their decisive actions exemplifies the highest standards of law enforcement and reflects an unwavering commitment to the protecting and serving of others, even in the face of dangers. Their heroic efforts were carried out under the strong leadership of Chief Billy Floyd, whose guidance and dedication continue to shape the department, rooted in courage, professionalism, and service. Also extend our sincere appreciation for Attorney General Tim Griffin for recognition of the bravery and heroism of Corporal Gresham and Officer Walker at the awards ceremony held on December 11th, 2025. This recognition highlights not only their individual valor, but also the profound impact their actions had on our community. Corporal Gresham and Officer Walker are a true credit to our department, their professions, and the community they faithfully serve.
Hear, hear.
Congratulations. Also, a brief note too that we're sharing the details for upcoming contractors licensing class, which will be returning this year. It'll be Wednesday, the 28th of January, and I guess the 4th of February, February 11th and 18th. This is a class that our building inspector sponsors and puts on so we can get more contractors, licensed contractors, qualified contractors here in Eureka Springs. You had great success the last time, and so we're looking forward to doing this again. This will be held in the Carnegie Library Annex Room, again, starting Wednesday, the 28th of January. So if you want more information, contact our building inspector. So with that, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Yeah.
And stand up and leave.